Good morning, OBC family. And, I just love those verses. And I love them because they remind me that when God looks at us, yes, he does see us as individuals, but he also sees us as a collective. He sees us as his church, and he sees us as one body. I want you to hold on to that thought for just a moment. It's hard to believe that we're into the final few days before Christmas. And as you know, the government has recently come out with a new series of health orders, and they all take effect tonight. These new health orders are intended to minimize the spread of this new strain of COVID. And in our specific case, it further reduces the number of people that we are currently allowed to have in our church, and specifically in our sanctuary. Specifically, we're now allowed to have just 50% of our sanctuary's capacity if all of those people are vaccinated, or 25% of our building's capacity to a maximum of just 25 people if there is a mixture of both vaccinated and unvaccinated. Well, our OBC leadership, as I'm sure you can assume, have been discussing what it looks like for us to move forward in this Christmas season. And our discussions have caused us to stop and think about what it means that we are one body. If you've been part of our church for a while, and specifically this last sermon series that we did through Paul's letter to the church in Philippi, then you know that it's a very personal letter that focuses on the importance of unity. In fact, this is some of what Paul says in the letter to the Philippians. And keep in mind that this is the responsibility of those of us who consider ourselves to be committed Christ followers. Paul says this, he says, "Let each of you look out not only for your own interests, but also for the interests of others." Paul in this letter talks a lot about being selfless. He talks about making sure that we're putting ourselves in other people's shoes. But Paul also says this in chapter 1. He says, "This is my prayer, that your love for one another may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best, and that you may be pure and blameless for the day of Christ." What our church leadership has been trying to discern is what is the best direction for us as a church to be taking, keeping in mind that, as we all know, there's a lot of different opinions floating around out there right now. And we've been prayerfully considering this as we've been looking specifically at decisions that need to be made over the next 3 weeks of our programming. Our higher value that we've really been holding on to since the beginning of the pandemic is our understanding of what it means that we are one body. And we're committed to discerning what is best for our congregation as a whole, and not just for a segment of it. One of the things that we have concluded is that asking people for their personal health information, well, that's not something that we are interested in doing. As mentioned earlier, the current health orders would allow us to have up to 50% of our building's capacity if we were willing to check people's vaccination statuses. And truthfully, we're not willing to do that. We don't believe that a person's vaccination status should dictate their ability to come to church and be part of any of our services. And for that reason, we have made the decisions that we have made. So, with that said, we will be shifting to online services for the December 26th, the January 2nd, as well as the January 9th service. What that means is that our services will be available for you to watch on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, and a link will be sent to everyone on our OBC email list early on Sunday mornings. We're also going to be opening up the church on those Sunday mornings for people who don't have access to the internet, or for people who just want to watch the service with others. Now, in accordance with the new health orders, this will be limited to just 25 people, and we'll need those 25 people to RSVP. If we find that there's more people than that are interested in watching the online service together, we may shift to having 2 or more services. We're open to doing that. We've also decided to shift our Christmas Eve service to an online service. Let me just say that it is going to be a wonderful service. Our musicians have been working very hard on it, and we're meeting to record it actually on Wednesday evening. and I know that you're going to be truly blessed by it. It will be posted online at 3 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and you can enjoy it in the afternoon or in the evening at your own leisure. So that is our plan for the next 4 weeks. If things happen to change in the health orders before that, we'll be sure to communicate that with you. And if you should have any questions or comments about anything that I've talked about, please do not hesitate to call me or email me. Also, if you happen to have any needs over the holidays, if something should come up, please do not hesitate to be in contact with me again. You've got my cell phone number, you've got my email address, and I will have my phone with me throughout the whole holiday season. Well, on behalf of OBC, the leadership, and my family, we want to wish you God's richest blessing in the next few weeks as we celebrate together the birth of Christ.